Glitter Girl here with the first of a few mini adventures. These are a quicker look at making a layout than a full-length adventure. That's pretty much mostly the difference. So I'm starting today's layout with a 12 by 12 sheet of dark gray cardstock and then this lovely yellow and gray print from October Afternoon. I have a single photo for the story I want to tell today, and this is what I wanted to focus on using 3x4 cards on my layout. So I use plenty of 3x4 cards on 12 by 12 pages, and this is one composition that I really like to use. So 3 of the 3x4 cards are going to be lined up in a straight line across the middle of the page, and then the photo is going to fill in the gap that's left. So I'm just using the photo there to line everything up so that I don't have to bother getting a ruler. So I'm lining everything up there at the top and then with the edge on the side. And I chose these 3 cards, which are from Simple Stories. I chose them for the colors more than the words. So for example, you'll notice that I just covered up part of the lettering that says Sunday. That's because it wasn't taken on a Sunday. This doesn't pertain to a Sunday. My intention is to go straight to that spot and fill it with embellishment. These are chipboard frames that are adhesive from October Afternoon. And I'm just cutting scraps of coordinating paper from other 3x4 cards in that pack where I've cut out some of the motif, and I have some of the solid color left to fill in that space. So now there's no Sunday left on display at all. Adding a row of washi tape at the bottom. This is also October Afternoon, and I do really like this combination of, if you're going to use 3x4 cards in a row, you can emphasize the horizontal element of how they kind of march across the page by adding something that works as a border. So this time the border's text, and this particular tape shows up mostly just the text. There's not a lot of color to the background. Once it's pressed down, it's almost transparent. I'm using 2 different flair badges from 2Ps. These are Best of Both Worlds exclusive to 2Ps badges, and one says Our New Year Story, because this was something the journaling is from something happening in January, and the other one has a little coffee cup and says Coffee Required. They're both still available in the shop. And they fit really nicely in these little chipboard frames. So I'm just backing another one with that yellow, and then the little badge will go inside the frame. Now with everything there that's really central and lined up across the middle of the page, it's really useful to find another spot on the page to add a little bit of embellishment so that there's some balance that takes your eye away from all that squareness. I'm going to start with this little chipboard scallop piece, and that's the full size of it. It's from the same sheet as the little chipboard frames from October Afternoon. And just placing it on top for the moment while I tuck a few little things behind it. I'm starting with a sticker from Simple Stories Daily Grind, so that's going to match well with the cards across the middle. And adding a little bit more to these embellishments, I have some wood veneer pieces that are a little starburst piece from Studio Calico, and the 3 pieces there then can create this little grouping, and I can add more details, but I can also use that that format of the 2 different stickers plus the wood veneer in the other embellishments that I add to the page. So I'll come back to that idea, I think. Now this little remember piece is cut from a shape in the silhouette, and it's the negative space. You can see the other version of it over to the left of the screen. It's the word cut out from a heart, and you'll see how where it's kind of shaped to fit in the heart. It's not just a straight word. So I tried bending it and placing it on a curve and things like this, and you'll see I just kind of move it around for a little bit on the page, and I don't fall in love with it in a curve. So I moved it eventually to so that it runs on the vertical, and then I'm going to place my title above that on the horizontal, and that's with these wood grain chipboard letters from October Afternoon Daily Flash again. And that then frames the space that I have for my journaling. Everything that's in between that little gray chipboard frame, the lettering at the top and the lettering at the right. Now I have all that space to add my journaling. So I'm just going to write all the way across that space. I've left the little pennant banner that's printed on the yellow card, but then instead of making 2 columns of writing, I just widen out the writing so that it goes all the way across from the yellow card to the gray and white card. So you can see how I just end up with more space as I go further down the paragraph, and that way everything can fit. It's not really how you would lay out text if you were computerizing it, but I quite like that sort of technique when it's paper, and I find that it's still quite easy to read. Okay, coming back to those little starburst wood veneer pieces, looking for different little places they can fit. So there's a small one that can fit right inside that pennant that I left without writing, and then using some yellow enamel dots on top. These enamel dots are from Doodlebug. They call them sprinkles, and you get a few different shades and a few different sizes in the pack, and definitely a nice set. I may have stocked up on a few different colors recently, but I'm really liking the Doodlebug enamel dots packs if you haven't checked those out yet. Just trying to move this other one around to see where it can go. So now I have 3 of those, one down at the bottom, one at the top by the title, and one to the left of that little framed badge, all with an enamel dot on top. And I like that pieces like that where you get the same shape but in a few different sizes, and gives you that little bit of variety. But so since I have 3 of those, they're in a triangle, and I had a triangle of red, but now I'd like to add a little bit more. So now you see there's a red kind of square, trapezoid, or whatever you like, because there are 4 spots of red on the layout. The typewriter, the January pennant up at the top, the red heart with the red coffee cup toward the right of the journaling, and then the label down at the bottom. These little arrows are colored clear plastic. They're from Studio Calico. And I find the tiny attachers one of the better ways to adhere them, since you can see through them. And I kind of like the little detail of the small staple with the arrows, because the arrows are quite flat. And just added a little piece that I stamped to the bottom of that frame, because that frame has a space to put the date, but the date was already on the layout, so it seemed a bit redundant. So just added a little stamped phrase, and then repeating the arrow but pointing in the other direction to give a little bit of balance. I think it's too far to make that arrow at the bottom of the page point up toward the photo or anything else, so I like how it's separated out from the rest of the page. Just making sure everything's stuck down there, and that's about it. But I want to add a little bit of mist just to bring out some sparkle, and since I've got all that gray in the background, I'm using the pewtery tinsley color from Hide Swap Color Shine. I'd love to see what you come up with this week using 3x4 cards on a 12x12 page. They can be from Simple Stories or any other company, or ones you've printed from the store, or your own designs. But see if this little row of cards gives you any ideas for what your next page might look like. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.
Join us next week for the continuing adventures of Glitter Girl and the ongoing mystery of the scrapbooker behind the mask at twopeasinabucket.com.